So I've been playing New Horizons since the day it launched back on March the 20th, 2020. And despite playing for over 4 years at this point, it amazes me how many new secret details I can still learn about this game. The developers absolutely packed in so many fun details that they wanted us to discover. So I've decided to share some of the secrets that I've learned about recently that I think you'll find interesting. There's a lot of really fun and interesting ones to jump into this time around, so let's do this. Leave a like on the video if you're ready for some secrets, and we'll get into the first one. Now, to start us off, we have a fun little callback to a past Animal Crossing game that you might not have realized unless you played it yourself. You'll definitely recognize these gold glowing spots around your island, and these are actually a callback to the very first Animal Crossing game, back on the GameCube or the N64 where it first appeared. Those golden spots appeared in that game every day too, although they had a different functionality, as back then you could actually plant shovels into them and that's how you'd get the golden shovel. A few days later it would grow a golden tree, you'd shake it and the golden shovel would appear. I personally think this is much cooler than how they did it in Animal Crossing New Horizons, so it's a bit of a shame how it ended up, but I still love that this made its way back to a later Animal Crossing game, and hopefully the gold trees will in the future too. Now, how about a secret about an item? Here we have the bamboo grass item, which you can get for a limited time from Nook Shopping, and if you interact with this item, you'll be able to read lots of different notes. Seemingly, these notes are from the villagers and some of the special characters around your island, at least that's how I interpreted it, and this is a really cool Japanese tradition that they've ported into the game. I love reading all the different notes and seeing people's hopes and wishes for the year ahead. And it's really cool, especially when people kind of think that New Horizons doesn't have any interesting dialogue. This is a good way of getting some that you might have never seen before. So many of the items in the game are interactable, but this has to be one of the coolest honestly, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people overlook. The item is just really pretty and great to look at, but it's super cool to know that it does have a functional purpose as well. Now, before we continue with more secrets, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Dinner time should never be stressful, but it really can be. Thankfully though, today's video is sponsored by Factor 75, who is here to take the stress out of meal planning. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. You can choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. There's also more than 60 add-ons every week like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and beverages to help you feel good all day long. I get so stressed grocery shopping honestly, and then I've got to go home and do all the prep work too. It's a hassle. So instead I can get Factor 75 delivered right to my door and that stress is gone. You can even change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So what are you waiting for? Get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Okay, back to the Animal Crossing secrets. This villager is Hopkins. You might have met him on your island before or seen him somewhere else, and he has an interesting little secret and connection with another character in the game who also is a rabbit and happens to be very infamous. The character he has a connection with is Zippity Bunny. Now, both of these characters share a birthday, which is definitely interesting, but there is another coincidence, or maybe an intentional one, that does connect these two characters together. It is the fact that Zipper has an interesting little zipper on his back, as we all know, indicating that he is most likely in a costume. And then Hopkins also has a secret on his back, the back of his head, which is a little inflatable thing, suggesting that he is just an inflatable rabbit rather than a real one. So both of these characters are connected in these two separate ways, which I definitely don't think is a coincidence. I feel like Nintendo has to have put some thought into this. I really love villagers and characters that aren't necessarily what they say they are. You know, we have interesting ones like Coco and such, but Hopkins is just such a strange case to me. I feel like he's one that people don't talk about as much, but is still just as peculiar. And Zippity Bunny, of course, we've all talked about him so much. He is infamous in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it's just interesting to know that he has a connection with another character that is also a bit of a suspicious rabbit. I feel like if we're gonna get on Zippity Bunny's back for being fake, then we should probably do the same thing with Hopkins too, it's only fair. Speaking of villagers, this is one of my favorites, Shino, who was added within the 2.0 update later on into the lifespan of New Horizons. An interesting fact about her is she is the only villager whose birthday is on the 31st of October, meaning her birthday of course is on Halloween. She does also share this with Jack of course and Label as well, which is interesting. But what I find kind of sad about her birthday is the fact that you'll never be able to see her celebrate Halloween with you if she lives on your island, due to the fact that she will always be indoors celebrating her own birthday. It's such a shame as well, since she really fits the theme of Halloween. That's just kind of how she's designed after Japanese folklore and such. So it makes sense that she does celebrate her birthday on this day, but it is sad at the same time that she can't take part in one of the best events in the game in my opinion. Now, this next one isn't super secret or anything, it's just a fun little detail that I really love. If you see a special shopkeeper appear on your island, what is really interesting is they will actually disappear on Harv's Island if they have a shop over there too. This is a great little piece of connectivity which just makes the game feel a little bit more realistic. Leaf will even take away his little shopping cart, which is usually hidden behind his trailer, so it's a really cool little detail. I feel like some games out there would have just made it so the character could appear in both places, you know, just sort of inexplicably, but New Horizons remembered that once these characters are actually on your island, they will be gone from Harv, so you can't visit them in both places on the same day, and I like that. Speaking of special characters, a really fun little detail is that if you do group stretching on the day a special character is visiting you, they will always take part in the group stretching session. So for example, Leaf is here today as you saw, and he will take part in the group stretching, so it's a great way of knowing who is on your island. This works really well for seeing if characters like Celeste are visiting your island currently, so it's a great way of sussing them out without searching your whole island. It could also work for other characters who don't really announce that they're arriving, so yeah, I definitely think it's a great idea to do this if you're looking for certain characters on your island. Speaking of group stretching, something that I think a lot of people don't realize is you can get a special reward for group stretching 50 times. This is a set of exercising related reactions. You might notice that there are still some empty slots right at the very end of your reactions page, and it's most likely that these are the 7 reactions that you still need from doing group stretching. Believe it or not, even I haven't unlocked these yet somehow. I think because personally I never really enjoyed the group stretching feature that much, but you can do it without even using any of the exercises and still get these rewards, I believe, so it's worth just trying to do it that 50 times, and it's definitely something I'm going to work hard towards because I just want to finally unlock everything in this game after playing it for so long at this point. And hey, you can tie it in with the secret that I had before about seeing the special characters, so maybe this feature is a little bit more useful than I first thought. Now let's move back to villagers. Did you know there are several robot villagers in the game who all have an interesting secret? We have Cephalobot, who was most recently added within the 2.0 update. We have Ribot. We also have Sprocket. And then we have Dell, who is kind of an interesting case because they're not technically a robot, they're themed after a battleship, but they still kind of fit within this category, honestly. We also have a character known as Nindori, but they haven't appeared since the original Animal Crossing game in Japan, I believe, so I don't think we'll ever be seeing them again, honestly, especially as they were a tie-in with a Japanese magazine at that point. Now, the connecting secret with these 3 main robots is the fact that they all have numbers on the back of their heads. We have Sprocket with 04 on the back of his head, we have Ribot with 59, and then we have Cephalobot with 083. Now, these are all slightly different in their own way. For example, Sprocket's is in red, and of course, Sprocket is green also, so he kind of stands out compared to the others. It is interesting to maybe think maybe he's an earlier version or something like that, maybe not using the best materials yet, I don't know, or just a special edition. Then we have Ribot, who has 59, you know, fairly standard, and of course the new Cephalobot, who continued this tradition, so Nintendo is clearly still thinking about this, who has 083. I wonder why they decided to add the 0 in there when Ribot doesn't have that. Maybe it's just because of the size of Cephalobot's head? I'm not really sure, but I definitely find it interesting. And now we have another secret about the robot villagers as well. Here you can see that their eyes will actually glow in the dark. It's not a really strong glow, but it does kind of glow faintly, which I find interesting. It does add to their robotic nature, so this is just a really cool little detail that I'm glad the developers added into the game. It just makes these characters feel that much more special and definitely ones to want on your island. But they aren't the only villagers with a glowing eye, as we also have Lucky, whose eye will glow in the dark too, as you can see here. This is just a really cool detail that adds to Lucky's kind of creepy nature. Although personally I've never found Lucky to be creepy at all, I think he's absolutely adorable. But of course he is a mummy, so it kind of adds into that lore and mystery behind the character. I really love when they do details like this, and there's so many villagers out there with secret details that I might have to make a full video just going over that too. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Which of these secrets did you not know? And also leave some of your favorite secrets in the comment section down below too, as I'd love to hear. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, leave a like and make sure to subscribe for more Animal Crossing content.